Pregame.tv, we are back to talk some baseball. Houston taking on Oakland, but we don't want to talk about baseball. We want to talk about football because the schedule comes out in the NFL Thursday. Spoke with Jay Kornegay at the Hilton. They're going to put up lines for NFL Week 1 this weekend, maybe as early as Friday. I mean, I can't wait. I think we should just talk about football during this.
We're going to have to take the ball from him. Right. It's baseball.
All right.
It's baseball.
All right.
At least till after the draft.
Baseball it is.
At least till after the draft.
Videos off with a fumble.
Huh?
Baseball it is. Okay, Houston.
I run the option.
Yeah, Houston. They're no good at all. But they got one good player on the entire team. Even I know this, Norris.
Oh, I was going to ask you who it was because I'm not so sure they do.
So even I know this.
He's a stud.
So what? This game's going to be nothing in the 12th inning, right? VR.
That's my play. I love the under in this spot, and like I said, you're going to get line value for a couple reasons. Number one, if you look at this series, this is the second time they've already met this early in the season. They played in Houston, games flew over, 3-0 to the over. Game 1 in Oakland, flew over. I'm hoping it goes over tonight as well, because then we're going to get some line value. And I always say this, eventually, as inefficient as some may argue that the betting market is, I think it's efficient enough that it corrects itself.
Semi-efficient.
Exactly. And I think all the talk about how Oakland's such an over team is why you're going to get that value. Let me explain. You look at the Tampa Bay Lightning in the NHL. Before the season started, I touched on it in videos because a handicapper that I really respect in NHL said, bet Tampa over blindly. Not pick games, bet them blindly when the season started. After 15, 16 games, you would have cashed about 75, almost 80% of your tickets after the 15 game mark.
Then you start flipping the coin after that.
And then if you didn't catch on, if you didn't get out ahead of the move, it's too late.
Sure.
And I think it's the same thing with Oakland. Instead of seeing 7s, you're going to start seeing 7.5s, 8s. And I think that's going to be the difference maker on why they're not going to be as much of an over team as they've come out of the gate. And I think this is a perfect situation where we're probably going to catch an 8 when really in Oakland the line should be 7 with this pitching matchup and probably favored to the under.
Now, Brian, I know you're high on Oakland. You talked about how you bet them to win the division before the season started. One thing I noticed is I saw a photo that's circulating, and there's about 100 people in that Oakland stadium. No fan support whatsoever. Does that make a big difference? What do you think?
The people in Oakland, the fans in Oakland, the players in Oakland know that that's just typical for that. They play in an old stadium in a bad neighborhood. They're playing for themselves. You went from football to hockey. Should I throw out a soccer reference?
Let's do it.
Name 3 soccer players that are still active.
Still active?
Name 3 teams. 3 teams other than Man U.
Okay.
Real Madrid.
Yeah, I know. Whoever Beckham's playing for now.
I did see. I got to tell you, I saw their team's about to get relegated, and it's tied in the 87th minute, and this dude kicks the ball into his own goal, and the crowd was so upset they had to suspend the game, and if the players had to leave, they take this. And this is a team getting relegated. Can you imagine? I don't think that's going to happen in the Oakland Stadium if they score like an own run. Do you?
Probably not.
What is a
relegated?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That's when you get knocked down a division. When you have a bad year,
and you're no longer
in baseball,
division.
you get put into AAA.
Yeah,
it's a great move.
The Houston Astros.
That's how they solve their money.
They're not that bad.
They got knocked into the
but they're not that bad.
But that could happen like that. That prevents like things like the Marlins, them sucking so bad and staying as a major league team. So
let me comment on your game. I'm not going to go against you, but just a couple of things I want to talk about. Number one is Norris. His home road dichotomy for his ERA is just ridiculous. Last year, a 1.71 ERA at home. 6.94 on the road. In fact, you go back 3 years, every year his home ERA has been better than his road ERA. He's going against Bartolo Colon. 2 starts this year, he's yet to walk a guy.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good. Problem is, he's playing a team that's a free swinging team right now, and he doesn't throw the ball out of the strike zone. So you got Houston that goes up there hacking. We see a lot of that lately. Toronto last year, Atlanta this year, teams that go up there, they don't care if they strike out. They're swinging for the fences. And if Colon is pitching in the strike zone, Houston can get lucky and get one out of here. And then, if you're looking for a side, Cologne, it's amazing. No matter who he plays for, since 2006, Cologne's 15-22 straight up when he wins and losses at home. So there's no home advantage when Cologne's on the mound. But this Houston team, they've got some good talent, but they're all young. They're not, and I'm not talking about the guys on this team. In the minors, they got some good players. All these trades they made, but right now this is basically.
Did you see them in the Cactus League, or are they in the Grapefruit?
They are playing Kissimmee, Florida, so I did not see them.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do your annual trip, and I think that's fantastic seeing all the teams.
It's great. It's great. And let's not forget, this is a rematch of the pitching matchup that happened a week ago, or a week or so ago. And if you remember that game, the total was 8, 9 runs were scored. But if you look at Norris, only 2 of his 5 runs were earned. He only gave up 2 earned runs, but gave up 5 runs. I think that's misleading. And when you really look at that box score, you have 2 guys that gave up a total of 3 home runs in 11 innings. And I went back and looked, and these are pitchers that average about 1 home run each per 9 innings of work. So they gave up 3 home runs in 11 innings, when on average you would expect them to give up 2 home runs total in 18. So I don't think you're going to get that in this game. I think there's a lot of value on that under.
Let's go ahead and make it official. Sounds good to me.
We have a situation where the pitching matchup definitely offers some value to the under. Bryan touched on it. Cologne, 0 walks given up, 7 strikeouts. You look at Norris, less than 7 hits he allows per 9 innings. Not a lot of base runners. Not a lot of runs are going to get scored. And this is a rematch of a game that happened last week. 9 total runs were scored. The total was 8, but 3 of those runs Norris gave up were unearned. I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow night. Hope tonight's game goes over. We may get a little more line value, because that'll make it 5 straight overs between these 2 teams. Bet game 3 under tomorrow.
I like the play. It's the one that stood out to me when I first looked. Although, Bryan, you bring up some excellent points, so maybe we go light on this one.
Yeah, we don't fire.
We got
unloading. Not until you run out of money.
We got plenty of games to fire on.
Total of the year
Later on in our. I know.
Not my video total of the year.
I had 3 games of the year all within a week.
I mean, my video total.
People were giving me a hard time. Did
they cash?
All 3.
What are they?
All 3.
Game of the millennium.
Stay with us at pregame.tv. I'll see if I can come up with an NBA game of the year, but I doubt it. But we'll talk a little more baseball. Wonderful. I'm so knowledgeable about that. St. Louis, Pittsburgh. Stay with us, and hopefully either or Bryan Leonard will have a winner for you on that game.
Who do you like?